Alright, we were watching Banana, who's playing Kiriko. That's what they said. Losing a bunch of games, it feels like I shouldn't be. These games, I feel like I do perfectly fine. I try my hardest to support my team when they're running around like headless chickens. I feel like a single mother with my tanks a lot of the time, but we lose, and I don't get why. I'm doing my absolute best. If my team are in team chat, I give the best comms I can. I just don't get it. I know I'm not a perfect player. I'm gold plat. My positioning may not always be the best, and my ability management can sometimes need work, especially in Kiriko. I'm comfortable in her, but not exactly good. But I feel like I'm doing my job and extra. I balance heals and damage. I make sure to get picks that my team can't. It'd be easy for me to say it's a team diff, but it feels like it is. But I know that's not always the case. I can note that I've had a lot of teammates give up my games recently, but I can't control that. That's right. And then for this specific game, this game was very close, but I didn't feel like I did quite well. Like I covered before, I supported my team the best I could and did damage if I felt like I needed to. But we lost. I don't know if this was just pure bad luck or a mistake I was making, but it really tilted me because I felt like we personally deserved the win. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about attitude. I think one thing that's really important about playing any competitive game, or whether or not it be a virtual game or a video game or a sport or whatever, is you can't always win every game, right? No matter how good you are, you could be literally the best player in the world, right? You could be the Michael Jordan of Overwatch, and you're not going to win every game, just like Michael Jordan didn't win every single basketball game, right? There's many different factors. Even if you're an individual sport, right? Even if you're tennis, right? If you're, Nader or Agassi or whomever, right? Like they don't win every single game. You just can't. Like it's not reasonable to expect that you're going to win every single game. So instead of thinking about it in terms of like, did we win or did we lose, think, did I play not only the best that I could, but did I play better than I have in the past? That's really important, right? You don't win simply because you put in maximum effort, right? I can't go to an NBA game, suit up and be like, I'm going to give 100% of my effort. Oh no, we got smoked by like 100 points because I'm just not skilled enough. I'm not, in addition to, not being tall enough, or athletic enough, but that's like really relevant, right? Just because you try your hardest doesn't mean that you deserve to win. The real question here is, what did you do with the opportunities that you had available to you? In the same way that if you play poker, right? You can make the best possible decision and you get super unlucky because the cards just don't flop your way. And you're like, well, that's it. Does it mean that you should change anything about your play? No, you should make the exact same play with the exact same decision because you don't ever know what the cards are going to be, right? You can't base your decisions on luck. You base your decisions on what you know. And if you made the best decision you can in the moment, then that's the best that you can do, right? And try to improve your decision making over time. That's the key to improving. And when you improve in that decision making, you will climb. I guarantee you will climb if you improve your decision making. Don't focus so much on any individual game, right? And I feel this right now. Like I'm playing in season 2. I took a break at the beginning of the season, but I just started playing, my tank games, right? And I lost like my first two tank games like right off the bat. Like the first one got rolled, and the second one was like a close loss. And I'm like, this is pretty frustrating, right? It wasn't enjoyable. And then I won the next 10 in a row. I didn't change anything about my play, right? I didn't suddenly become better between the first 2 losses and the next 10, right? I just did the same thing, and I just happened to get circumstances where, wherever it was, either maybe I did play slightly better, maybe the context was a little better, maybe my team was a little bit better, relatively speaking, whatever it was, or the opposing team was a little worse. Those games I ended up just absolutely rolling people, right? So I opened 10-2, and after that I played 5 more games, and I lost all 5 of those. Right? And again, did I change anything about my play? I didn't. I played the exact same thing. Like I made the exact same decisions, and I lost another 5. I'm like, okay, is it bad luck? I'm like, okay, well, losing 5 in a row is a lot. So I went back, I looked at it, and I'm like, oh, there's actually things I need to improve about my recent play, and I changed that up. And then over the next 5 games, I won 4, lost 1. Like that's what the journey of Overwatch is going to be like. Okay? Don't fixate on this specific game. I quote unquote deserve to win. Play the best you can in every single game. Try to learn from it. Move on. Right? I think having a level-headed attitude is really important to getting better at the game. Otherwise, you're going to tilt super easily. Okay, let's play this out.
Keep calm, keep sly. Restoring balance.
So I wouldn't even spam kunais there, honestly, because those kunais have almost no chance of doing any damage. Right? A, and B, I would be more prioritized in being in the right position, healing the right people. You notice that your attention gets distracted while you're shooting those kunais. And I know this seems like a smallest little detail, but this already demonstrates to me that you're like having a little bit of trouble, right? Prioritizing what's important. What's important right now, right? Is it important to try to be getting crits, right? Like magical headshots on people that you can't even see right now? Is that the priority here, or is it keeping your team up? Right? Your Ramacha's already taken 75 damage, right? Your Cassie's taken 50 damage as well. You're sitting back here throwing kunais, and now you just started healing. Additionally, watch this mine, or this dynamite that comes in, right? Now this dynamite's landed right next to you. Where should you be right now? Is it right here? Obviously, not right here, A. But B, you should probably be up here, right? Healing your Ramacha, or up here, healing your Ramacha. That's what you should be doing. You playing this far back is a mistake, right? Is already a mistake. Because remember, your healing has travel time. The farther away you are, the slower it's going to take, longer it's going to take for healing to get through. Right, you really try to weave shots in. I don't recommend this. Unlike Baptiste, I do not recommend weaving shots in. And this was very clearly proved. I've talked about this in like every single Kiriko video I do. You basically can climb all the way to, I would say, at least Diamond, if not Masters, by not attacking ever. Right? I've seen Kirikos on winning teams who have literally like, 18,000 healing and like 1,000 damage, if that. You really don't need to do damage, unlike Baptiste, where that's almost impossible, right? You really don't need to do damage as Kiriko. The most important thing is to heal your teammates and have Suzu at the right times, right? That and Rush at the right times. That's more important than anything else. Yes, you can do damage, but in reality, the vast majority of times, it is the wrong call to deal damage, right? You don't need to heal your Ana. You never even heard your Ana taking shots. You see how your Ramacha's getting super low right now, and you are not healing your Ramacha. Why? Right? So you can come over here and heal your Cassidy, right? Granted, yeah, he's in a 1-on-1. It is a good idea, but I'm looking at this over here. I'm like, I don't think my Cassidy actually needs help yet. Like, he's not taking a shot. Once he takes a shot, yeah, I can swift step over there. No problem. Right? Your Ramacha, the reason why you're not taking the point right now is because your Ramacha is not getting enough healing. Right? It's a combination of you and the Ana are both having this like tunnel visioning on the left instead of just healing your tank. And because your tank isn't healed, your tank can't step on point, and because they can't step on point, there's no space, which means that things are going to go haywire from here. Right, then you're forced to walk back. Okay, great. Echo's dead. Right. Again, why are you attacking? Why are you attacking? Right? These two kunais just went into the stairs. This is what's tough. Where you're like, oh, I played so well, right? Is this peak Kiriko performance right here? Just two kunais into the steps while your Ramacha's missing like 250 health? Is that what top tier Kiriko play looks like? Just heal him. It's not that hard. Just heal him. It's like this is like your Ramacha's like in the face of the opposing team taking a ton of damage, and you're wasting time that could have given him another 125 plus health by shooting kunais into the floor. Even if they were visible, even if you were further up and they were visible, do you think your two kunais are more value than healing your Ramacha? Well, yeah, they're both headshots for sure. Do you think you can hit those headshots consistently? Like, what do you think are the odds of you hitting a headshot from this distance on because the headshots on the Orisa's not going to matter at all, right? She's being double pocketed. This is not going to do anything. You'd have to double headshot the Moira to kill her here. What do you think the odds are that? Are you hit that 50%, 25%, 10%? I personally am a pretty good shot. I don't think the odds of me killing the Moira there are any higher than 10%. Is that worth a 10% risk there, or just healing my Ramacha, right? This is where it's like you can just kind of do your role. And I know there's a lot of discussion recently about how supports need to do more damage, which is correct, right? Which is correct in a lot of cases. But this is not one of those cases. Just heal your Ramacha, right? Like, this is not a situation where you can easily get a pick. Okay, so your Ramacha's gone around the corner. Now, you could say, hey, this is kind of the tank's problem, right, for being out of position. But the tank's only over here because the tank's got coach gunned into this spot. It is your job to save your tank in the situation. I don't even know where your Ana is. Your Ana died at some point. So it is your job to swift step here, Suzu, and keep healing, right? Good. Now, unfortunately, Orisa eats it. That's unfortunate, right? She's also going to eat the heals. But you did the right thing. So then you try to attack. Why are you attacking here? Right? Think about it. Your attacks do 40 damage. Your Ramacha is still critically wounded. There is no Ana on your team. Why not just heal your Ramacha here, right? Who's still missing 300 health right now, right? Are those two kunais really the highest thing, most important thing for you to do? No, just heal the Ramacha. The Orisa is not dying, right? She still has two supports here healing her. You are not going to out damage, right? Mercy heals something like 70 damage a second. Moira heals about 90 damage a second, not including Orb. You're not going to out damage 160 health per second, right? With Orisa getting her cooldowns pretty soon as well. Just heal. Again, attacking instead of healing. So you're forced to use Suzu, right? This is like what ends up being sort of like a required Suzu, but it's a bad Suzu, right? Because if you've been healing the Ramatra the whole time, the Ramatra never gets this low to the point that you use Suzu. And after you do this, and then you and the Ramatra both get spooked. The Ramatra activates block, and you activate Suzu, which means if you had healed the Ramatra, he probably activates block, right? And then you can save Suzu for after block ends, right here, right? Where you could have Suzu'd and then saved the Ramatra. So 100% on you. You could have kept this Ramatra there, alive there very easily. No skill required, right? No perfect tracking, no headshots, no dueling, no GM level, dodging mechanics. All you had to do was hold right click on the Ramatra the whole time and then throw Suzu after a block ended. And your Ramatra will be alive right now. Now that Ramatra's dead, this fight's over. I don't know why you're not healing. There's no point being AFK here. If you want to spam kunais, now's the time that you can spam kunai if you want. Alright, so you didn't even finish healing your Ana here. Right? Like, what is this tracking? You just threw 5 Fudas into the wall for the Ana right next to you. This feels bad, man. And now, like, your Ana could get easily picked, right? Or get spooked and throw a grenade or something. Why are you jumping to here? What? Does this Cassidy need you? Is this something that your Cassidy urgently needs you to swift step to? Like, your Ramatra's over here taking a ton of damage. Again, despite having 2 supports, neither support is healing your Ramatra. I think it's so funny that, like, in your post you talk about blaming tanks. I feel bad for the tank. Like, as the tank, I'm just like, look, I have 2 supports, right? 2 supports that do a lot of healing. Both of you do roughly, 70-ish healing, 70 to 80 health healing per second. Neither one of you are healing the tank. It's so frustrating as a tank player. So that is actually an opportunity that you could have had to do something. Track rat's up there. He's spamming. I think he just eats spam though. Dies here. Yeah. So the dive happens here. Let's watch, right? So you could have saved the Junkrat here, right? Plenty of time to save the Junkrat. So when you, I mean, this is kind of tough, but like if I were you in this position, I actually would be playing this pillar. Why? This pillar opens me up to the Ashe, right? This pillar hides me from the Ashe and allows me to see the Junkrat. So number one, I think your position could be better, right? You're clearly playing here because you're like, oh, give me an opportunity, because obviously it's harder to throw kunais from here, right? But I think this position was better, and then you would see that your Junkrat was being dove. And when you see your Junkrat's being dove, you could then, if you were playing from here, like healing your Ramatra, looking, okay, I see the dive, I immediately swift step to the Junkrat and throw Suzu. And you could have saved him, right? Because think about it, the Junkrat's getting help, right? The Junkrat's got a mercy pocketing him. Your Junkrat's got nothing. He's got no help from your team whatsoever. So it's not your Junkrat's fault he loses, right? It's a 2-on-1. You didn't do anything. All right, again, you're trying to kill the Ashe. Your shots are wildly off for the record. There's no chance that these shots would hit. A. B. Your Ramatra's in, trying to make space, and once again, not getting any healing. All right, you throw Suzu finally. You heal. All right, your Junkrat gets a pick, but okay. Again, why have you left your Ramatra? Like, does this feel like the correct location to be in? You're just frontlining against the tank and the Junkrat, right? Is this where you want to be? Why don't you just play over here? You're with the Ramatra. Just keep the Ramatra alive. I feel like you're pushing so hard to try to make some sort of individual play as a support, and instead just keeping your tank alive, which is the most important thing you can do right now. Right? Force a swift step. Now you don't have swift step. What if they dive you? Right? What if you need to save somebody else? Unnecessary force. And now you're trying to kill the Moira, and no chance. Right? If I were you, I'd just take a step back and keep healing the Ramatra. Right? I don't expect the Ramatra. The reason why I can play here, I don't expect the Ramatra to kill and then walk around like this. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to kill clearly and come back to this choke. So I can just stay in that spot. Again, not looking at the Ramatra. Not looking at the Ramatra. Right? He's throwing kunais instead of healing the Ramattra, who got super low and was forced to block. Okay, and when he's blocking, that means he's not doing any damage.
Let the kitsune guide you.
Again, your Ramatra's still missing a ton of health. Keep healing the Ramatra. What the heck? Your kunais aren't even hitting. Like, that's the worst part. It's like, I can understand if you were like, I've seen Kirikos where like they're attacking, but they're like at least landing hits. Like your hits are not even body shotting people. Right? Like let's watch this. If you don't believe me, let's watch this. Okay, he popped it. So okay, body. Okay, you got another body shot. You got some healing that misses completely. Right? You come back for no reason. Right? Wasting time. Rush. Not just taking damage.
Let the kitsune guide
Right?
you.
Here comes Rush. Right? You got a body shot. Miss. Body shot. Suzu, that completely misses. You throw some healing that finally is on target, except one of them isn't even on target. You throw... Okay, this healing's all on target. Okay, we're good. And okay, you got a body shot. You got... See? What is this? You got that shot way off in the distance. Also, kunai, just out of nowhere. Right? That's happens to be a body shot. Great. Another body shot. Great. Cool. Body shots. We're hitting some body shots. More body shots. Right? Spins activated. Right? Look at your Ramatra the whole time, still missing all this health. Right? You throw some healing into their Orisa, which isn't gonna heal her, but you know, not helpful. Like, what about that makes you think, man, I'm really glad that I was throwing those kunais instead of just healing my team, right? In all those kunais you missed, you could have easily healed like 700 health worth of damage, right? When you only end up doing, I don't know, 220 maybe, with the, or 240-ish, with the kunais, assuming you hit 6, it's just not valuable, right? Like, first of all, your aim's not there, but even if your aim was there, right? Again, this is demonstrated in the OWL finals. The winning Kiriko was not the one who damaged, it was the one who healed. And I guarantee you that at the OWL level, right? At the Overwatch League, at the pro level, they're all amazing shots, and they still choose to heal over doing damage, because healing is the right call, right? Kiriko is not like Baptiste, who must do damage in order to have value, right? You should primarily focus on healing, right? If you want to do more damage, play Baptiste. That's what I tell you, right? Or Zen. Then go ahead, damage all you want, right? I'd probably complain that you're not damaging enough. Is usually the problem with heroes. But if you want to play Kiriko, you should be healing. Your primary aspect is, does anybody need healing? Yes, you can heal them. Unless I can kill somebody in like one kunai. Okay. So, Junkrat tire goes off. So, first of all, just looking at the situation, right? Okay. So, Bob goes off, right? You see your Ramatra eat this, and you go to the flank because you're trying to kill the Junkrat. I understand this. I don't think this is an unreasonable play. You can try to get a quick double headshot and then save somebody with Suzu. Okay. You completely miss. I wouldn't even go for the tire. It's way too... You had to hit 3 kunais on the tire. I would just kill the Junkrat. Because you kill Junkrat. If he kills one with the tire, then you've traded. The Junkrat is stationary. Just go for his head. 2 kunais to the head. Alright. You miss multiple shots. Alright, and then you get killed by the tire. You know, it's tough to look at this and be like, oh, you know, I feel like I'm doing so much. I don't see, right? And maybe you can help enlighten me, but I don't see where you think you're doing so much. You had a Junkrat who tired, right? Basically right next to you. He's completely stationary, and a double headshot here saves him, or kills him. Right? Double headshot here kills him. Alternatively, if you don't feel comfortable with that, just Suzu. Right? Right now, you're like, oh shoot, and Suzu. Why are you walking towards him? You don't need to walk towards him. Just stand still and just double kunai. Like, the Mora doesn't aim, so just double kunai him right away. Right? And then you die. So, like, what was the value here? Right? You had an opportunity to make a play. At a minimum, trade for your life. At a minimum, trade for your life. Right? With double kunai. Or Suzu. If you want to play defensive. You're like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with my aim. I don't think I'm going to hit that. Just Suzu. Right? Just watch a tire Suzu and save somebody. This is just a straight negative play from you. Alright, so they have point control again. Again, your Ramatra has gotten super low. I think it's a mistake that your Ramatra's already pushing up because the team's clearly not there. But I mean, your Ramatra's going, you're going, right? At this point, like, why play so defensive? You know, the Anna's not in danger of imminently dying here, right? She's just taking like random chip damage. You have to be saving the Ramatra because things in Overwatch happen very quickly, right? He can get spammed down. Like, look how fast he's gonna get burned here, right? Pow, right? He's already down, and then now he's down to this. Okay, where are you? Right? You're all the way over here. Your healing is on its way, and this is gonna force defensive cooldowns after him. Again, you're throwing kunais. Is this the right time? No. You're not hitting anything. You're not changing the fight in any way with it. Why are you jumping to the Cassidy? Oh my god. Cassidy doesn't need your help. He's fine. He's totally fine here. In fact, you're blocking his vision. just stay on the Ramatra. Like, I really think that you're trying to push and you're trying to make plays on the flank, okay? You jumped here. Let's look at this. Miss. Walk around. Right? Start healing again. What was the point of that flank? You know, like, did you get any value there? No, you didn't get any value, right? No value whatsoever. You go back and, you know, now you're healing your Ramatra again, but now you're so far away, again, that it's hard for you to get healing in, right? And now you're healing Cassidy, which I think is the right call, finally. You're not even finish healing the Cassidy. Oh, boy. Throwing more kunais that are missing wildly. It's funny because of all times to kill someone, that would have been the time. When the Junkrat's not looking at you, you could have walked along this edge and then try to kill him right here really quickly. That is the only time that I've identified so far where I feel like you could have, if you wanted to, tried to kill somebody. Now you jump into the point, the Junkrat's on the off angle, he's spamming into everyone, right? You see that not dealing with the Junkrat now makes him a huge threat to kill your Anna. It's funny, the one time you should have attacked, you didn't attack. Okay, I'm going to skip forward because I don't really know that we need to beat a dead horse here.
Join my
Great. Win this. I mean, I think you're mostly pocketing the Ramatra, but Ramatra's just getting too much damage. I would have Suzu'd that. Reasonable Suzu. Yeah, I mean, he's just point blank with Bastion. There's nothing you can do about this. Very best. Like, this tracking is rough, right? So, I want to try to get this moment because I think it's important. So 1 healing into the tank, 4 healing into the wall at point blank. This can't happen. If you want to climb, this cannot happen. Absolutely not. In no world is this going to be acceptable to miss this much healing at point blank. Right? The Rush even turns, he's like, what just happened? Because he's just confused why he suddenly stopped getting healing. I do this too as tank where I'm just like, wait, what is happening? Right? It's not like misses don't happen, but like some misses are okay and some misses are not okay, and that is like not an okay miss. Not if you want to climb, right? If you want to stay put, it's totally fine, do whatever. So, this is interesting. I think you really need to be healing your Anna here, because you notice that your Ramatra is being ignored, right? Everyone's just ignoring your Ramatra and going after the Anna. So you really need to be healing the Anna here, because she's the one who ends up getting killed, right? You see this healing the Ramatra doesn't matter, because they're ignoring your Anna, which is the Ramatra, which is a good, correct thing to be doing. Now the question is, why don't you have Swift Step available to save your Anna? Because you Swift Step up here. Why do you have the Swift Step up here? Because you're playing way too far back. Right? They're pushing, again, this moment where you're in front of the tank, this is a mistake. You must recognize that you have made a mistake. There's no reason to be going here, right? If your tank goes forward, you go forwards. If the tank goes backwards, you go backwards. Right? So, back up a little, right? You don't need to back up so far. Right? You really don't need to back up so far. You could have just kept healing from here. right? The damage orb, right? If damage orb, if I'm getting forced out of position, I swift step over here. Okay? Playing over here makes it really hard for me to heal the tank, right? Because again, around the corner. And now you're swift step to the tank. But now that puts you in a ton of danger. If I saw this as the Orisa, I would immediately kill you, for sure. There's nothing you can do to stop me from killing you now. Because now you swift step, I would immediately just spin in and I would kill you with javelin and shots. So now you're like, oh shoot, I want to fall off the edge, and now you're healing, right? And again, I understand climbing up here. I think in this situation, I think this was the right call to climb up here. I think that you made a bunch of mistakes that caused you to need to do this to begin with, which put you out of position from saving the Ana, right? Which is why you lose this point. Again, I think you were back here healing the Ana. You had Suzu to maybe save from Bastion. Maybe this fight is winnable. But your personal mistakes are a huge contributing factor as to why your team loses this fight. Okay, I'm going to stop because I don't think this is worth like belaboring the point. I would say biggest overall thing, heal more, damage less. You're not even particularly good at damaging heroes. If you want to play a hero that weaves healing and attacks, play Baptiste. If you want to play a support that damages almost exclusively, play Zen. Right? I don't think you should play Kiriko if you think that Kiriko is about weaving damage and healing, because she is not about that. That's just not the way her hero is played at an optimal level, number one. Number two, heal your tank more. Way more. Way more. Constantly keep line of sight of your tank, right? Generally speaking, it's a lot more complicated than that, but I think at your level, just keeping your tank alive will win you games, right? So many people are like, oh, my tank is playing forward. Like, it comes from this post too, right? Where you're like, oh, my whole team, they're running around like headless chickens. They're playing poor. I don't see that. This feels like a very normal game to me, right? The tank goes in, tries to make space, doesn't get enough healing, forced to pop defensive cooldowns, and dies after defensive cooldowns end because they're just not getting enough healing. If you just kept your tank alive, you win the game. It seems like so obvious, but if your tank never dies, how could you lose the game? You know what I mean? Like they're constantly going to keep fighting and they're going to keep killing people, and eventually you win the game, right? It's that straightforward. If you keep people alive, they will win the game for you. I don't care how bad they are, right? It's sort of like a 1 in 1,000 situation. Most people, if you give them invulnerability, will kill the enemy team, and that's your job as like Kiriko in this situation is just to keep your tank up. Right? You keep your tank up, they do things, right? Your tank is not throwing. I'm not looking at your tank and being like, wow, this feels like the worst Ramatra in the world. No, I think Ramatra generally understands what's going on, right? Generally knows how to play, is not being overly aggressive for the most part. Like maybe, yeah, one time they're like probably too far forward, but it doesn't feel like your tank is throwing, right? In which case, just heal the tank and have them win the game for you. And if your tank is throwing, you're going to lose regardless, okay? Like that's there's nothing you can do about it. Your tank is just going to explicitly throw the game. But that's not what's happening here, right? This is a very normal, gold level tank or whatever this is. So just heal your tank, number one. Or I can't remember what number we're at right now. The other thing is you swift step to your flankers when they don't need you, right? Like they're totally fine. Like full health Cassidy walking around in a small room on his own, and you swift step to him. Like what? Why are you here? What value are you adding from this position? And then when your flankers do get dove, like at the Junkrat, you don't swift step to them and save them. So like it's really tough in that situation to try to process like exactly what's going on. I feel like you're not tracking like accurately what is happening in the game. You create your own narrative for like your team is all playing poorly and you're playing the best. But there are so many opportunities where you're playing suboptimally and like opportunities for you to help your team, and you don't do it. And even if you're like, okay, forget my team is bad, they're all bad, right? I personally will carry this game. Your kunai aim is terrible. It's like really bad. I think other than the spam ones where you're coming back to point on the first map, I don't think I saw you hit any headshots with kunai, right? I have very little faith that you would hit a crit at close range, which is the easiest time to hit a crit. You couldn't even headshot the stationary Junkrat. Like if your goal is I'm going to win games with my kunai aim, you should work a lot on your kunai aim and deathmatch a ton more, because that's as easy as it's gonna get. If you're like, man, I can't like reliably headshot a Junkrat who is stationary under pressure, you will never climb as Kiriko if that is your plan. And I don't think you need to. For the record, I will reiterate, you do not need to be good at aiming at Kiriko to climb. This is super important. But if you're going to try to play that way, right, the awkward playstyle or whatever, where people are like, oh, support should be doing more DPS, your aim has to dramatically improve if that's your plan. I think your Kitsune Rush was also... Did I even see you Kitsune Rush? Maybe I didn't even see you Crusading Rush, so I won't even bother commenting on that. But I think that's probably enough right now to hopefully illustrate that this is not a team diff. Like the games are generally pretty back and forth. Like you won the first point, I presume you're gonna lose the second and the third. Like this is like a reasonably close game. You could have just done small things to turn probably two fights around this whole game, and your team would have won it. And you couldn't do it because, quite frankly, you're just not that good at Kiriko. Right? There's a lot here for you to improve upon, and hopefully you can see that. All right, I hope this is helpful.